Outside corners are an integral part of our stone if you are going around the side of your building or if you have pillars. To do an outside corner, we have left and right stones. You want to start with one or the other depending on what end you're starting, from the right side or the left side. One has a short return that's about 4.5 inches. The long side of the stone is about 9.5 inches. Starting that first corner, you don't lay up corners all the way up. You actually have to put the corner and then the whole row of stone all the way down, then your next piece and the row of stone all the way down. When you order corners, the box comes 8 corners in a box, which will cover 4 lineal feet vertically. So there'll be 8 pieces, there'll be 4 lefts and 4 rights. To do a pillar with our outside corners, we recommend that you do a minimum of a 12.5 inch column that goes vertically up. It's got to be square and straight. It'll take 4 pieces to do one course. Now, to make it perfect, you're going to probably have to make some small cuts to get them to line up perfectly. Because stone is a natural product and we make our molds from a natural product, the stone isn't perfectly square and straight. You will have to cut or cope a little bit in order to fit them properly together. For an inside corner, you do need to put at least a 3-inch flashing in the corner. That can be the rubber membrane flashing or your regular aluminum or galvanized flashing. You want to flash that because when you run your corner pieces in there, we do not make an inside corner like our outside corner flashing that has the flashing all the way around it. There's 2 ways to do an inside corner. One is to stagger or alternate the piece of stone going all the way into the corner. So if you run one stone all the way back into the corner, the next stone on the side will butt into the face of it, as you can see on the video. The next course above it, you would alternate that. So you'd run, if you were running the first one in from the left side, you would run the long way in from the right side on the next course. Now you can spend some time and cope these and really cut it to fit, and you can barely tell that there's a corner piece there when you're all done. A trim board can be used on an inside corner as well. We recommend a 2-inch square board, and that can be any fiber cement board, or if you wanted to use a treated board or some sort of cedar board that's not going to need any maintenance down the road, you can put about a 2-inch square board inside, nail it into the corner, screw it into the corner, and then you can just run our stone straight into it and have a straight butt seam. To do an outlet box, we have a flashing that comes off of the top or the side. So you can run the outlet box either vertical or horizontal. And they come in a variety of different colors to match your stone. The outlet box needs to be flashed on the sides and top with, again, a rubber membrane flashing or some extra aluminum flashing, because as you're running the stone in there, it just isn't usually enough unless you have an extra flashing there. You will have to cut some of the stone to fit around the outlet box. You may have to notch a piece of stone either from the top or from the bottom. The light boxes are larger. That gets installed basically the same as an outlet box. It's just that it's taller and wider. So you will have to cut and trim out some of the stone because your courses, again, will never line up with the top or the bottom of the light box as you're installing it. Again, you will need to put a little bit of extra flashing on the sides and the top of the outlet box. Even though our stone has a flashing in it, you may need to add some extra flashing, whether it's a rubber membrane or the aluminum flashing on the sides and the top. Water spigot, air conditioning line, or other small penetration into the home. What you will do is you will have to just notch out a piece of stone. What works the best is actually getting a seam, a vertical seam, to end either right at it or right to the edge of the water spigot or the air conditioning line or whatever penetration that you have that you need to go through the wall. In a water spigot, as you can see on the video, I brought the stone right up to the left side of it and then marked, and we notched out for the water spigot. You will have to cut with your 4-inch angle grinder and your masonry saw to cut that notch out of there. And then you would still want to flash a little bit behind it, but then also caulk that penetration through the stone before you install the water spigot. Or if the water spigot's already there, make sure you caulk that as you're putting your stone in place. Soffit. Going up under a soffit, you're going to have to cut the metal flashing off as you get to the bottom of the soffit. The next piece of stone will have to be, you're going to have to cut the metal flashing totally off, and you may even have to rip the stone lengthwise in order to get it to fit between the last course of your stone and your soffit. Then you would use a construction adhesive to glue it into place, and that's all you need to do. Doing stone around a window, you must first flash the window itself just like you would flash it for any other siding product. We recommend an 8-inch flashing on the top, at least 3 inches on each side, and 4 to 6 inches or so on the bottom. And that can be, again, the rubber membrane flashing or your aluminum or galvanized flashing, whatever you would normally use on your job. Siltstone. The siltstone has a flashing on it the same as our regular flat stone. When you get to the top of your course of stone, the siltstone would cap it off nicely, and then your siding can come down right to the top of that siltstone. If you're doing it on an existing home with vinyl siding, you may have to pull that course of siding off, install a J-channel, and then cut your last piece and drop that into the J-channel to finish off the stone. Siltstone under a window. When you are installing a siltstone under a window, you will need to cut the flashing off and glue in place with construction adhesive. In order for the siltstone to fit, you may have to rip the course of stone directly under the sill. The best way to do this is to rip the bottom of the course off, so you will still have the flashing to attach the stone to the wall. Then install the siltstone with the adhesive to complete it. Hearthstones. Hearthstones can be used in front of a fireplace or on the top of a pillar, whether it's inside or outside. It is 20 inches square and about 2 inches thick. It can be glued into place with construction adhesive. You can grout the joints between the hearthstones if you want with a masonry caulk or a grout that you can buy at your local hardware store or lumberyard.